Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Theorist, here with your host, Vanity Pride. And I do want to get a little more fancy today with how I read the Tower of God titles from now on, because I feel like, obviously there's a sequence to them with what season we're in, and then the number chapter we're in, but I also like the titles that SIU uses, and it's like, I don't do it justice by just being like, oh, we're taking a look at Season 2, Episode 308, which in truth we are, but anyway, I'm just getting way too wordy about that. But we are reviewing and making predictions on Season 2, Chapter 308, The Hell Train, The Advent, Part 3. Just needed to get the proper name. And today I am going to talk about the blog posts. I know it's been brought up to me before, like, hey, you should check out the blog notes and, kind of commentate on that. So, I'm going to do it. So definitely I want to give it a shout out to Roddy Hussein, who, was like, hey, you should look at these, right? Actually, I'll just quote him word for word here. Also, I would really like to hear your thoughts on the blog post that he writes after each chapter. He does drop some hints on there, which is totally true. Like, after reading today's one, I was like, ooh, this is really nice, very helpful. So I look forward to talking about that a little bit later in this review. But for now, we'll start at the top. So, you played around with fate. This is young Zahard questioning the real Zahard. If that isn't confusing enough, right? Alright, so real Zahard is like, that's right. Being an immature form of data, you wouldn't be able to understand. But now I seek to place even fate under my control. And young Zahard is like, what? All right, so we're going to pause for a second because I did read this chapter already, like earlier in the day, but I didn't take any notes because, I was just like, oh, let me just get the flow of it, and then, I'll just treat it as a live read right now because, there were a lot of things that were, a lot of the dialogue was just really interesting to me, so I'm like, hey, why not just read all of it during the review? So anyway, real Zahard continues in answering young Zahard's question. You don't know what that boy is. Of course, I don't fully understand either. When you find out the truth, you may regret your actions today. And young Zahard looks shocked here, like he's in disbelief at what the real Zahard is saying. But anyway, real Zahard continues, but I also want to respect your choice. I'm taking this with me, he then informs. If that boy is qualified to have this, he'll appear before me again someday. So he is taking the watch with him, but there is quite the twist later on, and, we'll see that later. All right. So there's this, whoosh sound thing, or these whoosh sound things happening, and basically there's an opening ahead of this, tunnel, you could say, in which Andrasi and Co are in. So let me tell you, when I saw the thumbnail for this chapter, I freaked the hell out. I was like, oh my god, that's my girl, she's finally doing something. So, I'm really happy that she's able to move now. I would guess maybe, she's obviously been moving around if we've seen pictures of her standing, but I feel like she has more free will now that the data world is getting destroyed, and coincidentally that they are making their way back onto the Hell Train, because that's what that opening is leading to, is what we find out. So here we start with Andrasi. This is the place we first entered. And Candy says, how did we get moved here? And Rock's confused as well, and he's like, that's the train. Is it an exit? The white light is even swallowing up this place. I'm guessing that's Candy who says that, because she turned around and freaking more of the data world is getting erased, second by second, because that's quite a bit of space that white light is taking up. My sworn enemy is gone. So this is someone clenching their fist. Oh, okay. So this is Andrasi. See what I mean? She has more of the free will to, move around and do what she needs to do, which is awesome. So then she uses her bong bong to get them out of there. And then we move to another group. So this is Boro, Sachi, Hockney. They are also seeing glimpses of the train ahead of them as well. And they even notice, oh, this is where we first entered before. So I'll go ahead and start here. Is that an exit? So this is Boro asking that. And then he's like, hey, Hansung, why did we suddenly... Where is he? Of course, he's nowhere to be found. We pretty much know the answer to that, but I will let Hockney provide that for us. So Hockney starts, they're gone. Boro's like, what? They just disappeared? You were probably flustered because it happened so suddenly, but I heard it clearly because I was right near them. Before we moved, of course that was all Hockney. What's that white light? What the hell is going on? Is this Lord Eduan? Have you chosen to turn this world back into void? And then Battis is like, what? What do you mean, Hansung? You know something about this? Yes, from the very start. I knew something like this would happen. What? That Lord Eduan and Zahard's data would fight to obtain something when the Chosen One appears on this hidden floor, and that afterwards Lord Eduan would turn this world back into void, are part of a promise that he and I made from the start. It may have been a predetermined ending. Of course, we see Hockney here listening into all this, while, of course, Boro was distracted, as Hockney pointed out. But still, the thought of all this being fake is unbearably sad, so I tried to do my very best. Just like how you took Medley along with you, even though you knew she wasn't your real daughter. Like, this part really hit hard. I was like, no way. Because, like, I always thought that was his daughter. I mean, they're all fake here, right? But, I legit thought, it was his daughter with Rose. But it turns out it's not. And so it is a little heartbreaking, So Hansung continues, that thing on your back is just a location tracker created by the big breeder in order to monitor dangerous data. No more, no less. It wasn't a coincidence that the big breeder managed to find us at every critical moment. You were simply set to think that Medley was your daughter. The two of you are actually completely unrelated. So, Battis, how long have you known? The same goes for me. I actually knew that everything happening in this world is fake and that this is all a virtual world, and yet I tried to pretend to destroy the big breeder and change this world somehow. So that's all Battis, of course, as we know. Although my goal was always to encounter Baam and make him fight Zahard's data, of course. No, that might all be Yu Hansung, actually. That would make sense because of this bubble that I was starting to read. Although my goal was always to encounter Baam and make him fight Zahard's data, of course. Some people may call it fake, but the time I spent with you was precious, Battis. Because among all of these countless data humans, you alone felt like a true human being to me. And so even Battis is touched by this, and it's just, like I said, it's so hard and so sad and bittersweet. It's like their final goodbye to each other. So, of course, this is where they would disappear, and, Boro's starting to realize, like, oh, yeah, like, makes sense that they're gonna disappear and whatnot. Boro says here, so you're saying the promise that Eduan and Hansung made from the start was to turn this world back into nothing? It seems that way, that's Hockney. And the fact that it happened must mean that Baam left this floor. And now Sachi speaks up. I can't believe that he arranged all this just to meet Baam and make him get something. Hansung, I really can't figure that guy out. And Boro says, yeah, I'm not exactly sure who he is, but he's definitely hiding a lot of secrets. Hockney says, maybe the picture I drew also has something to do with this. I want to leave this place and meet him in person. Not sure who that is who said that, but... Maybe it is Hockney, though. I feel like it would kind of coincide with him talking about, like, the picture and all that. And then, of course, we come across Rachel and Uraha, as well as White and Traveler, obviously. But Rachel is in her normal form, as I predicted. She was not going to be able to keep her Icarus form. I think I think I have something here. So, for first prediction of this chapter, right? If the data world hadn't been destroyed, I feel Rachel probably would have had a chance of leaving in her Icarus form, but because the data world is getting destroyed, and turning into a void, then that's not possible for her to keep that form, right? I don't know what you guys think. As usual, as I always say, please leave your comments below because I really want to know your guys' thoughts on this. But that's my prediction for this. I think, that kind of makes it interesting as to why it didn't work out for her. Because I feel like, again, BB3 was convinced that, we can be human on the outside, or at least in his case, and then for Rachel, she could keep her Icarus form. But because this world is getting destroyed, that's not going to happen. So those are my thoughts on that, and I'm really curious to know what you guys think too. So then they, of course, have an opening that's leading them back to the Hell Train as well, right? And it's interesting because as they're leaving, Rachel's stingray companion just like pops up and like it looks bigger than ever before. It's crazy. And so the reason for this creature's appearance is because it is stealing that watch from the real Zahard. Because there's like this wind taking place, in a way it affected Andrasi as she was bonging the group away. And then, of course, that's what causes the bracelet, watch, whatever you want to call it, to pretty much fly away from the real Zahard and thus get swallowed up by this creature. So, of course, real Zahard makes this observation. He's like, that's the treasure-eating stingray, Gustang. So he realizes that Gustang has betrayed him, and this is going to prove very, very significant at the end of this chapter, and you guys will see why. Like, after reading that last part of the chapter, I was just like, oh my gosh, this is getting so good. So I'm excited to talk about it when we get to that point. But anyway, we do go to the hidden floor. You guys remember this, right? This is where Rachel first showed up. She had Chung help her out. So, of course, we see this part of the hidden floor getting turned into void as well. And Chung is just standing there as he's glitching away. I don't know how, but finally, it's all coming to an end. Which is sad because, yeah, he was bad in the beginning, but, you kind of felt bad for him and the other big breeder, BB3. Big breeder 2, not so much, because he was more like dead set evil. But the other two big breeders, you felt sympathy for them because, they were only fake people. Like, they weren't even real, but they wanted to feel that sense of reality and freedom. So it's something that we can really sympathize with. So it's kind of sad to see them fade away. And then, the fading away continues here with young Zahard, which is also bittersweet. And Eduan, of course. And here we see Baam is getting taken out of this voiding world, right? So Eduan's like, go, leave this place, meet the real me on the outside and ask him for me. What made you all change? What on earth? I'm guessing this is real Zahard because the boxes coincide with his image. So what on earth has really happened? And of course that world is completely gone at this point. Everyone is falling onto the Hell Train. And it's very interesting that Baam and Wang Nan land in the same spot. They weren't even together, but they landed in the same spot. And precisely that is where Yuri and Karaka are. And so that surprises them as well. They're like, what happened? And Karaka's like, so he made it back from the hidden floor. But why is it just the two of you? And of course, we see Wang Nan has Excalibur in his hand. So I did want to, I guess now is the perfect time to bring this up. I have a comment here from last review by ya boy Nick. I like that name, by the way. That's really cool. And he says here, I don't think that Wang Nan would accept the sword if he had to kill a friend. Which, granted, yes. What I worded the last time was saying, like, oh, Wang Nan accepted the terms. And so, I feel like he accepted for now. That doesn't mean that he went off and killed somebody or that he really is going to go through and kill somebody. But he took hold of the sword. He has it in his possession. So that means that he worked out something with the sword. Now, as far as, did Wang Nan kill somebody or will he kill someone in the future? I don't know. I don't know if Wang Nan managed to convince the sword otherwise. So that's something that we'll hopefully see next chapter and whatnot. But, right. I agree that Wang Nan wouldn't kill anybody. Like, I can totally agree on that. I don't think he would. But if it comes to survival, I guess he would have to. The thing, too, is he wouldn't necessarily have to kill a friend. He doesn't like Rachel. So, he could kill her, but And we don't even know who this sword wanted Wang Nan to kill. So, I mean, it could be someone... I mean, we didn't really have very many options. It was either Rachel, Baam, and, like, some people were commenting about Kun, but I don't know. I don't know how Wang Nan worked his way out of this one. But I think also with the sword being like, oh, hey, you have to kill someone in order to save everyone here. But because everyone was already in the process of being saved and granted an exit out back into the real world, back onto the hell train, that it isn't really necessary for Wang Nan to kill this person just yet. So I think maybe in the future, it could be a possibility. Okay, so enough on that, though. We'll go to this next scene, which this is the interesting part. This is the final scene of the chapter. So here it says, somewhere in the upper levels of the tower, an altar for conveying Zahard's orders. Wow, this is it. So these are two new characters that we're getting introduced to. One of them is the vice altar director. The other one is a ranker who goes by the name of Charlie. So anyway, go back here. The altar where Lord Zahard gives us his orders. So that's the ranker dude. This is the vice altar director. Yes, that's right. Lord Zahard is always in his palace. So he gives orders to lowly servants like us using altars. This is the oldest among the altars which serve Lord Zahard. You're now working here because your outstanding abilities have been recognized, so consider it an honor. You, Charlie the Ranker. Yes, certainly, Vice Altar Director. But I've heard that Lord Zahard always gives 3 orders together. Is there any particular reason for that? I wouldn't dare try to interpret Lord Zahard's will, but Lord Zahard always gives us 3 orders at once, and if any one of them is carried out, the remaining orders naturally disappear. I guess you could say that Lord Zahard gives us a choice. It feels like this is what I want, but which future will you choose among these 3 things? That's so deep. I want to see orders being given too, although I've heard that no orders have been given for centuries. Haha, Charlie, no news is good news. If we were to get a difficult order to carry out, it would be... And so suddenly there's something lighting up, and precisely, they're talking about orders, they're getting one. So be careful what you wish for, Charlie. An order. Vice Altar Director. Isn't that an order from Lord Zahard? Wow. So the order reads, by order of the king, destroy or kill the following forces or people. 1. F.U.G. 2. Everyone currently riding the Hell Train. 3. Pobidao family. And so there's a zoom in on 3, which is Pobidao family. It's a war. And that's the final panel, if you will, of the chapter. So yeah, Gustang, as I said, betrayed Zahard. So now Zahard is like, hey, if anyone wants to kill him off or kill off his family, kill off him and his family, like, go for it. This is an order. You guys are going to do that. And, you know, because of it getting zoomed in on, I feel like that's what Charlie and this vice altar director are going to do. You know, plus other people are gonna, you know, heed the order. Especially if there's various altars like that and you can see that message displayed. Like, I mean, a lot of people are gonna get the message and they're gonna do it. It is also very risky for people on the Hell Train because we have a lot of the people who were on the hidden floor that are now back on the Hell Train, safe, supposedly, but, I mean, something could definitely happen there. And, I mean, there's always been a war between F.U.G and Zahard, but, you know, it's gonna be more crazy. So, that being said, on the note of war, I do want to go to SIU's blog post real quick. So, there is, like, a little image here. It looks like Wang Nan, and I don't know who's kneeled over. Or that could be like, you know, young Zahard. I don't know. Maybe it's young Zahard and Eduan. Who knows? Young Zahard's just comforting Eduan. Like, it's okay, man. We still alive. Those were just our fake selves dying. But anyway, we'll go ahead and read this. Like always, this week is about wrapping up the episode and a talk about the new episode. It looks like the power that enabled the cast to exit was from the weapon that Wang Nan took. Oh, okay. Well, that's revealed right there. I kind of figured it was more of a Baam making an exit that kind of saved everybody, but I guess I could see why it would be Excalibur, especially if Excalibur was making the promise, like, hey, I'll help you and your friends get out of here, kind of a deal. But it's still inconclusive as to who he was supposed to kill, and, you know, he clearly hasn't done it because everyone is safe back on the Hell Train, so who knows? We'll see. SIU has his plan, so we'll just let it roll. Regarding how the weapon will influence the plot, you have to stick around a little longer, but Wang Nan is somehow getting closer to becoming a key of something. So that's interesting. Slowly ripening. Wang Nan is a wine-like man. I do like that phrase, that comparison for Wang Nan is pretty cool. Due to the rules, there will be a few variables in the future episodes after the hidden floor. Since Baam used the key to enter, he was able to bring items with him, including Hockney's paintings, of course. And then the bracelet Rachel got, which she did acquire. So, you know, thanks to Po Bidao Gusting. Can't even talk. But anyway, the bracelet Rachel got this time will have a huge influence over the story after the Hell Train arc. Of course it will. Absolutely. Because Baam would need it. But how is he going to acquire that from Rachel? And I mean, he did place that bet with her where, you know, either one of them could get a hold of this item. So kind of tricky, but we'll see what happens. You can say that the storyline afterwards is caused by this bracelet. Surely there is something about the bracelet if Zahard was that obsessed over it. Well, yes, of course, because the bracelet has the power to kind of help them defeat Zahard, if I'm not mistaken. Because I remember hearing that, like, 2-3 chapters ago? Anyway, and about the word war at the end of the episode. Well, it feels like the scale will get bigger, but hope you can have the patience to see what's going to happen. Currently, there's a lot of foreshadowings and flows of the story right now, so I do feel the need to scale it up to carry out the plot. Still, it won't suddenly just increase its size. Rather, I am planning to have a few branches spread out and join together with Baam as the center. It will be actually tough doing that, but I'll do my best. And if it still does not work out, well, whatever, huh? I love SIU. He's just like chill about it. It's really cool. And then he did also talk about the weather randomly, which we're not going to talk about. But he did say that he will get a rest soon. So, you know, you might not see me for a few weeks, but I guess that can be the time where I actually review Noblesse. But anyway, it was also interesting because there was an endnote here from SIU, and he says, as the author, I would rather prefer them to have peace than war, but that's difficult to draw, which makes sense. And I mean, you know, what's appealing of a story is conflict. You know, you can't be at peace all the time. Maybe later on, and obviously the way to end the story would be awesome to end it in peace or on peaceful terms. But I mean, for now, war is definitely interesting. We knew about the tensions between F.U.G and Zahard, and, like, you know, they're trying to do things against each other, but it's definitely going to be more intense now, which is going to be super, super interesting. And then I'm also thinking that, you know, Wool Haek-song, for the most part, has been neutral, but I think they could join in on the war. I think that would be interesting to see, because then we would see more of Hachuling. I mean, Urek Maz, you know, is part of Wool Haek-song, so, you know, getting him in on the war would be really cool to see. I mean, there's so many ways this could go and so many things that could happen, and I mean, I could go on predicting forever, but I don't think we want to drag on this review any longer. But yeah, no, this was a lot of fun to, you know, review and make predictions on. I don't think I really had many predictions for this chapter, but, you know, for stuff later on, like I mentioned Wool Haek-song and all that. And it was really cool getting to read the blog notes finally and, you know, comment on those. So I'm hoping to do that more often. Thank you guys for suggesting that. I really appreciate it. It does definitely help. So yeah, that being said, I don't think I have anything more to add in regards to this chapter. But yeah, new characters, so, you know, it'll be cool to see what kind of role this Ranker plays. You know, will he fully stay on Zahard's side, or will he see the corruptness and, you know, end up siding with Baam? That would be like a cool plot twist there. So I guess that's another prediction based on this chapter solely. But yeah, so as usual, like I say, go ahead and leave your comments and theories below. And thank you guys for tuning in. It means a lot. It really does. So anyway, I hope you guys have a great week, and I will catch you next time. Peace. Have a good one.